Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of Cote's Cube, live from the Transworld Surf offices. Very special guest today, Mr. Joel Patterson, my boss, my friend, the editor-in-chief of Transworld Surf. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Thanks, it's nice to be here.
Well, we have you on the show today because you did something very special on the North Shore this year. Why don't you tell everybody what you did over there?
Well, I got to interview Kelly Slater for the new magazine.
All right, so how did that go? I know we have an issue of it right here. This is the latest issue. You should have it in your hands right now. Let's just talk a little bit about the adventure that was interviewing Kelly Slater.
Well, I was on the North Shore, and I showed up, and my first day there, I drove around for a while trying just to locate Kelly, which was kind of hard. Through team managers and agents and the whole maze of people he has set up to kind of block media, I somehow figured out a way to him, and I figured out where he was staying. So I drove down there, and literally the whole street where he was staying was just full of like Brazilian reporters with backpacks, like trying to find him, like looking over fences. And
you like call him on the phone and go, Kelly, where are you? I mean, you know him, right?
Well, I know him. I went on a trip with him earlier this year in the Caribbean, but you don't call. Kelly doesn't answer his phone as far as I know.
Probably gets a few calls a day.
Yeah, probably a couple hundred. But I was talking to his agent, his like media person, this woman named Shelby, who's really cool. And she got me down there finally, and I made it into his little compound, and it is a compound. It's locked, and inside there's like not really security personnel, but there are people.
Big dudes that like will punch you if you try to tackle Kelly or something weird.
Yes, an entourage for sure.
Yeah. So you finally get him. Do you sit him down, or how did you actually put the tape recorder in his face?
Well, he kind of sat me down. I had to sit there for probably 2 or 3 hours while he finished documentary interviews for a Quicksilver movie that's being made about his 7th world title. And so I kind of sat, and the thing with Kelly that you have to do is you have to pretend to not care. You have to, like, as soon as you start paying attention to Kelly, he gets disinterested in you. So I just kind of sat there and like did my own stuff, and he would kind of come in and out. They would give him little breaks from making the film, and it was interesting because there are these people who are just kind of around Kelly all the time, and they're usually like famous people from outside of the surfing world. So there was the director Julian Schnabel was there. He made the movie Basquiat.
Oh yeah.
About Jean-Michel Basquiat, and he was interesting and definitely a surfer, which I would have had no idea, and he wanted to talk about surf photos, and Herbie Fletcher was there, and we talked to him.
Giselle there by any chance?
Giselle wasn't there, and that was kind of what I was hoping for, but no.
She's easy on the eyes.
She is. I agree.
Okay, sorry. Let's get back to Kelly Slater. So, there's Herbie and there's directors and just kind of random people all over. How did you separate him from this pack?
Well, eventually he finished his thing with the documentary guys, and then it became like, then I thought we were going to do our interview. Shelby was like, okay, you ready to do this? She was definitely like handling Kelly. And then all of a sudden he had this idea where he needed to go up to this piece of land that he owns up in Pupukea Heights. And he had this like designer woman there, like an interior designer. And
more random people.
And they're like, whenever he gets a moment, they like start pitching him ideas and like talking to him about what the couch should look like, or it's interesting. And so we went up to Pupukea Heights, and we looked at his piece of property. And
you had to like you told me you had to like hike in and like through the jungle, or
well, we drove in and we looked at it from up top, and then everybody kind of left, and they kind of left Kelly and I to do an interview up there. And instead of doing an interview, he's like, let's go, we're hiking. And so we like hiked down this mountain through like brush,
like machetes. You're like,
we didn't have machetes, but he had this like, he picked up this like tumbleweed and was like making a hole through the brush. It was insane. I was literally like, why are we doing this? This sucks. And just getting cut by that elephant grass, and there were mosquitoes everywhere. And we finally hiked down to this little like level down there where you could kind of see out all the way to like from like off the wall up to pipe. It was really cool. He has like an amazing view from this piece of property.
So you finally sat down, you started doing the interview, and it was obviously, was it going well or was it weird? Like, how did you feel like it was going while you were doing it?
We still didn't do the interview. We hiked around for a while. He had to like show me all these things, and then we hiked back up again. And then we drove back down to his house, and then he showered, and I still pretended like it was cool and I didn't care and like everything was fine. And during this whole time, I like missed picking up a bunch of people from the airport, and
you were on Kelly's schedule, basically.
I was on Kelly time for sure. And eventually, after all that, we finally sat down in these two little chairs that are right in front of off the wall down there, and watched Rob Machado have a surf session and did the interview.
Awesome, yeah, and I think it turned out really good. It's on newsstands now. We're really proud of you, Joel. You did a great interview. Transworld Surf Magazine, thank you for watching the first episode of Cote's Cube. Thanks a lot, Joel. It's a pleasure to have you in my cubicle. And we'll see you next week with the second episode. We're going to have a very special show for you. See you then.